Hello and welcome to Gank That
Gank That
Drank.
Drank.
Ooh, mine popped weird. A supernatural drinking game podcast. It's the podcast where we make up drinking game rules for our favorite episodes of our favorite show, Supernatural. And we play along as we watch the episodes, and then we recap them for you. We talk about how the rules play out, and then we tell you at the end what the next episode's going to be and what the rules are going to be for that episode. I mean, it's not that complicated. It sounds more complicated than it is, right?
Yes, it does, but it's not complicated at all.
No,
No,
couldn't be simpler.
no,
Uh,
couldn't
who's
be.
that voice you hear?
Oh, this is Nate McWhorter, a performer at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona, and lover of Supernatural.
Yeah,
And who
I'm
introduced
Krissy
this?
Lenz.
That's Krissy
Oh
Lenz.
yes, that's Krissy Lenz. Also performer at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater and lover of the handsomest longest running show on television, genre show on television.
Still running in our hearts.
Oh, always. Yeah, so we're super excited to be with you today. We made up drinking game rules for one of our favorite episodes. Today is a Nate episode.
Yeah. It is an 8 episode.
Which means Nate picked it, and Nate made up the rules, and Nate's going to do the recap.
So if you didn't like this episode, you have me to blame for the fact that you watched it. Yeah. If you didn't like the rules, though, you definitely can blame me, and please tell me all the rules that I should have done, because I feel like either I've been off my game lately making these rules, or I don't know. I
do have one suggested rule for you.
Okay. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Krissy, what are you drinking right now?
Well, I'm changing it up just a little bit for me. I'm having a White Claw, a black cherry White Claw. It's gluten-free. It's 100 calories. It's 5% alcohol.
Nice. I am having the complete opposite of that, in that mine has all of the gluten in it.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
What is it? A hazy IPA?
No, it is not an IPA at all, actually. It is a Big Blue Van Blueberry Wheat Beer from College Street Brewing in Lake Havasu, Arizona.
Yum,
quite a
Lake
popular
Havasu.
choice here in the hot desert. It tastes quite like a blueberry muffin, but it also goes down pretty light and smooth. So it's a pretty popular choice around these parts. And if you ever get a chance to go check out College Street, check them out. They're pretty cool.
Excellent.
Today's episode, Krissy. Last time it was my episode, we weren't far away. My last episode was season 11, episode 7, which was Plush, as you recall. Well, we only that episode aired like right around Thanksgiving time. We're jumping just the next week. We're jumping right into the first week of December 2015, season 11, episode 8. The very next episode is called Just My Imagination. Just my imagination. Yeah. It's an episode we've done at the Phoenix Fan Fusion for Mashup before. It's got all sorts of fun stuff that we'll get into, and I love watching it, and I probably watched it like, I don't know, 6-7 times at this point, and which is going to be great when I can't remember anything that happens in this episode as I talk about it and recap it. But so I'm excited to jump into it, but let's talk about our drinking game rules first.
Yes.
The first rule being anytime there is some sort of ZANNA CIDAL attack, as in an attack on a ZANNA. That is our first rule. Our second rule is anytime we have a flashback, take a drink.
Take a drink.
You finish your drink. or maybe you chug a bunch, chug during the whole thing, or waterfall, or I don't know. Basically, the extra drinking rule for this episode is for the air guitar solo.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty
Which is great.
sweet. We'll talk
It
about
is.
it. A rule that I'm calling indignant Dean. So basically, anytime Dean is just like really indignant or just like kind of put off it, not put offish, whatever, like cast some sort of aspersion upon the situation or ZANNA or Sam or anything like that. And then quote, ever think.
Yeah.
Anytime someone says ever think we're taking a drink. Anytime there's some cage talk, taking a drink.
Talk.
And then, Krissy, what rule did you add? And then I have one that I thought about adding, and then I think I forgot to keep track of as I was watching. So it probably either was a mistake or I don't know. What was your rule?
Pop culture references by Dean.
Okay, that was, yeah. Sometimes I feel like that's one I lean on, and I really should have just done it for this one because, yes, there are quite a few, and we could totally, yeah, I like that. So we'll add that one in there. Pop culture references by Dean. Because the Totoro reference is amazing.
Yep.
I totally forgot that was a reference, and then it happened, and I was like, "Oh yes, what a line!" I was gonna do thumbs up. Sully doesn't like thumbs up a bunch. That was gonna be the rule I would add,
cute.
or at least he does it a couple times. I counted 2, and I think I forgot to keep looking as the episode went on.
Yeah, I definitely didn't track that.
If you're looking for a little extra, try to keep track of how many thumbs ups there are and pop culture references, and yeah. So I say and then I actually did want to maybe add another shot if you're feeling froggy. If you feel like these rules aren't going to hit it hard enough and you want an extra shot, bloody face mom, take a shot.
Oh yeah, bloody face mom is great. Sparkle bloody
face mom. Yeah, sparkle blood. Yeah. Do that. All right. It's time for some supernatural.
Woo! Pew 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 pew. Wow, wow,
Then
wow.
the then is the same then as the last time I recapped an episode. It's the darkness is coming. The boys let it out. Sam's got these visions that we end up finding are from Lucifer, but he thinks are from God. Saying that he needs to go back to the cage. Whatever. All of that. Rather kind
cage
of
mumbo jumbo.
Cage mumbo jumbo. This is all pretty superfluous to this particular episode, with the exception of kind of our ZANNA do talk about the darkness and how they've heard about the darkness, and of course this is the time of supernatural where every episode, whatever bad we're coming across, is like the darkness. It's like a bingo card. If you can get it in there, I guess that should have been one of our drinking rules because it probably would have hit 4 or 5 times. Anyway, supernatural title card. We are in an unfamiliar setting. We're in the bedroom of a young girl who's having a tea party with what looks just to be herself at first, and then her parents come in and they say we've got to go to dinner, and the dad's like, we have reservations, and the mom's like, doctor said it's best just to let her have the imaginary friend and whatever. And then it's revealed, oh my gosh, there's actually some sort of supernatural being that is with the young girl. And he says, go ahead, Maddie. I'll clean up this mess. Which, like, I'll get into this. I'll get into that later when we meet our air guitar friend.
Well,
do you want to talk about how ZANNA do chores right now? Because I'm down to.
Yeah, I do. Because I was like, first of all, there's no big mess to clean up. So it's like,
no, there was not.
Like, I'll stack up this. But like, if the parents were like, okay, no, she fully didn't clean up her tea party. Who in the living hell is coming into our house and cleaning up the tea party?
Yep. Just like the other guy, the oh my god, I totally can't even remember the guy's name. The air guitar ZANNA, the like rocker ZANNA guy at the end. Fletcher, right? Weems. Weems. That's his name. Yes,
Weems is his name. Fletcher is the kid.
Yes, Fletcher's the kid. Weems is he's like doing the laundry because the kid wets the bed, right? So then he like the
Mm-hmm.
mom would for sure wait. Like, what is he getting up before the mom in the morning and like putting all that back on the bed for the kid? Like, does the mom just wake up and there's laundry out on the line and she's like, huh?
Yeah.
Wonder
Huh.
who did that. Like that's I'm anyway. Get yourself a Xana.
I know.
That's what
I
I'm
To
saying.
me, it should be believable that the kid could do it themselves if the Xana is doing it, because like they must have some kind of code. They're only visible to people they want to see them, so they know they have to stay hidden in secret. So they should have some kind of guideline that says they can only do chores for the kid if it's believable that the kid could have done it themselves.
Right. I agree. I wish they would dive way more into Xana rules and regs.
Me too.
Uh,
I want them to come back. I wish they had ever
they
come
don't,
back.
and yet they leave that door open. That door is left open at the end of the episode because the whatever enchantment or spell that Sully does so that they can see Xana, he never like reverses it or
Right.
whatever. So like they could still theoretically see Xana, and you totally could have brought him back, and we could have done a whole dive into the Xanaverse.
Yeah, I really like them. I thought they were really neat. Not a monster, but a supernatural being.
Right. And
Just as
which
interesting as like a djinn or a trickster.
right. And it takes speaking of great. Oh, Krissy, how did you know? You said just like a djinn or a trickster. Well, do you know that this episode is the first episode directed by Richard Speight Jr.?
Oh, our beloved trickster himself.
Yes.
This is going to tie
So
into my episode too.
nice. Look at that. It's like we play these things, except we haven't. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah,
Happy
just works out.
accidents. Yeah. So yeah, we have the chore doing Sparkle. So Sparkle is a Xana that is sparkly and has a unicorn horn. Nope. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Has a
He has a
unicorn horn.
unicorn
Yeah.
horn.
Yeah. And sorry, all of a sudden I was thinking we were back watching the penny whistles. I was like, no, that was a different episode. No, unicorn horn, Sparkle, and he's gonna clean up. So the girl leaves. Sparkle's cleaning up or doing whatever, and he thinks that Maddie has come home, and instead it's someone who's there to stab him, presumably, or kill him. Yeah, they kill with a big dagger. It's Sparkle's done. Maddie comes home. She goes into her room, and Sparkle is all bloody and killed. And that's then when we flash to the bunker. Sam wakes up. He starts to get coffee. Okay, last week or my last episode, I teased. And maybe it was in our last. I can't remember. At some point, I teased that I want to talk about the kitchen in the bunker.
Yeah, what's with the kitchen in the bunker? And why is there an industrial size like restaurant coffee pot? Why is
Right. This it's like an industrial kitchen, but it's also like half bathroom. There's a vanity, and like it's so weird. It's a weird, and I don't feel like it stays like this. I feel like, or I don't feel like it was always like this. Maybe it was different when they first got in the bunker, or maybe it's different later. But like whatever set they are using for the kitchen is just wild.
Yeah, it seems really industrial in this episode. It
Right.
seems really like it's like the bunker is meant to house many men of letters, but we've only ever see like two guys in it.
Yeah. Well, and we only ever see a few rooms of it ever. Like they
Right.
show us a few different spots. Obviously, the main room with the big table and everything, and kind of like the stairs and the foyer and all that. And then you get like the boys' bedrooms. We've seen a garage. We've seen like
Endless
um,
hallways.
and lots of endless hallways. A room where they keep Crowley behind a bunch of moving like a false bookcase or whatever. Like yeah, so we've seen like some various, but this kitchen is another place that they put the boys a lot commonly, but like I feel like in this season it looks so weird. I don't know,
I
or if
agree.
it
I
just
agree with
yeah,
you. I was very
it feels
put off
cold
by the
and
kitchen. And
the
I was
rest
put
of
off
the
by Sammy being so indignant that the coffee pot was empty. It's like it's first thing in the morning. You want the so who do you expect to be filling up the coffee in the middle of the night?
I'm wondering if he had a preset pre-made,
Oh.
and Sully like poured it out, or like, made him coffee already or something. I
Oh,
don't know.
maybe. Good catch.
Obviously, these ZANNA are doing things in the middle of the night, like making entire candy buffets, which is what Sully does, and Sam walks by it like twice before doing the like cartoonish double
Double
take
take.
of uh, what is this? And Sully appears and says, and it's telling Sam, like, Sam doesn't believe it's him. Sam
He
doesn't
punches
believe that
him right
he's
in the
real.
nose.
Yeah, he punches him. And Sully, by the way, played by Nate Torrance. Awesome actor, perfect person to play this role, I think. Yeah. So Sam, yeah, is pretty flabbergasted that here is Sully, his old imaginary friend from when he was a kid and he was alone, and we end up seeing those flashbacks. And so basically, yeah, Sully starts saying, "Sam, I need your help. I think I have friends who are like murder, coming after or people are coming after my friends. Not I have friends. People are coming after my friends, and I know that you do this kind of stuff, and obviously from when we were together in the past, and I need you to come in." So then Dean walks in, and he's like seeing Sam just talking to himself, which at
Yeah,
this
which is
point in
a
time
pretty
in
funny
Supernatural is
little.
like, yeah. He's obviously worried because he's got these visions and stuff going on. So then he's just in the kitchen, like talking to himself. What's going on? But he sees all the junk food and he sees all the candy. And Sam is like, "What do you mean you can't see? You can't see this guy's right here?" So finally, Sully reveals himself to Dean. Uh, Dean's reaction is to go get his gun.
Yep.
That's what he thinks he's going to go
He's
do.
being indignant Dean, as you said.
Yes, this whole,
Take
yeah,
a
you could just
drink.
count this
He's
whole
so
scene as
indignant.
one big indignant Dean.
I think I counted
Um,
it as more than one. I think I counted each jab as like an instance.
yeah, I think I counted. I think, yeah, two or three, because I think I did like his initial reaction. Then he has like, yeah, a second one, and I think he finishes with one. Yeah. Anyway, so they kind of get into a little bit of an argument or whatever, but um, they get past it. They decide they're gonna help out this ZANNA, this weird creature, even though Dean, who after all this time, after all the bads and supernatural creatures that they've like helped and are good and whatever, he's still like, "Nope, monster, gotta put it down. Always
Yeah.
gotta put it down."
It always like shocks me when he can't believe something is true. And I get that what they were doing is to create conflict in this episode, but I think Dean would have been on board with these fun little mythical creatures.
Oh yeah, oh for sure. And it's like the same thing whenever they have Dean like in whatever seasons when he's like not willing to believe that there are angels, or not willing to believe that there's God, or not willing to believe that there's like, and it's like, but after everything that that you guys do, why is there anything you wouldn't believe in at this point?
Right. Why
Like,
is there anything at all you wouldn't wholeheartedly believe in from jump?
right, you've faced off against like holiday mascots and stuff, gods, mythical gods or whatever, like, anyway. Yeah, so they argue about whether ZANNA exists. They kind of like go through Men of Letters stuff. They finally decide, all right, we're gonna investigate. As they start to investigate, they pull up to the little girl's house. This is where we get another indignant Dean
Yep.
because the freaking Bert and Ernie.
Hmm.
Oof,
Although they
oof.
look so cute in their like sensitive sweaters. I did wonder because they pull up in their normal attire, and then they're like, "Oh, how are we gonna play this?" And then they pull up in their like therapist attire. I'm like, did they go home and change, or did they just change inside baby?
They're both in there. Both those giant humans are in that car changing.
Yeah,
No, they probably just went to a gas station, around the corner,
that'd
or just
still
go
be
around the
pretty
corner.
conspicuous. Yeah,
It would be, especially pulling up in that car.
yeah.
right? Because they pull up in Baby, right? It's not like
Yep.
they're in. Yeah,
No, it's not
your
like
two
season
run of the
7 where
mill,
they're in weird cars.
and your run of the mill, door to door therapists, child therapists that drive classic vintage American muscle cars. Yeah. So, uh, we talk to
Mom.
we have the whole scene in the car before they walk up with Sully though, where he's like, "It's pretty bad in there, guys." So they go up, they go in, they talk to the mom. The mom is like, she won't go in her room anymore. We don't know what's going on. The boys are like, "Can we just go take a look up there?" They go up. Nothing looks amiss, and then Sully comes in. And he's like, "Oh right, let me show you." And it is a bloodbath. Just all you got sparkly blood everywhere. Um, and they see how bad it is, and then the mom comes in, and this is where we get our bloody mom face scene. Bloody faced mom. There we go. She
Mhm.
like sits down in sparkle and like then touches her face and like wipes the blood all over her. And the boys and Sully are just sitting there, mouths gaping open. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you what she talks about because yeah, they do a good job of her just being covered in this blood. You're just staring at it like
Yeah.
what? Huh? Yeah. So they after they get done investigating that, and they see that he's been stabbed, and they look around. Um, they go talk to, or sorry, we cut to the mermaid. We cut to our second ZANNA. I guess now our
Because
third
she didn't
ZANNA of
check
the
in.
episode. Right. She hadn't checked in with Sully. So Sully admits in the car right before the scene that he doesn't get out in the field much anymore. He's more management. Um, so yeah, he didn't check in with Nikki, I believe is the name of this other ZANNA, the
Mhm.
mermaid ZANNA. So they're gonna go check in on her. We cut to her. We get there ahead of the boys and ahead of Sully, and she is there with her child Zoe, who they're in like a little above ground kiddie pool or whatever. Or not kiddie pool. I guess it's like an actual above
It's
ground
like an
pool.
above ground
Um,
pool, yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's not like a big above ground pool, but it's an above ground pool. And so the little girl goes off to gymnastics or whatever, and then the mermaid Nikki is done been stabbed again.
Yep.
Not
She
again.
got
Another
ganked.
ZANNA stab. So we've had now two ZANNA-cidal attacks.
Yep. Take a drink.
Um, the boys and Sully, they roll up, and they get in the backyard, and there she is dead in the pool.
Just like her bloody tail flopped out over the side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The like this is an episode props had fun with like the sparkle blood, the like mermaid corpse, but like fun in a way that like I don't know. I guess you had to set up the initial scene and then have like the whole like murder scene with sparkle, but then doing the pool bit like not too hard, but really creative, really fun. Um, and then the rest of the episode is very industrial.
Mhm.
Very industrial. But yeah, so they have to then bury poor Nikki.
Yeah.
But they were asking Sully
Yeah.
like, who would want to do this? Like, who else? Like, what is going on here? And that's when Sully kind of reveals that he's got like she's got a boyfriend that's also one of Sully's friends, and that's Weems. Weems has the kid named Fletcher. So now it's like, oh man, we better go check on Weems after we bury Nikki.
Which is a really sad moment when like
It's a
Dean
really
is
sad
like
moment.
being so he's being indignant Dean, and Sully's like, I think I saw some shovels over there. And it's like, oh, Sully. It was really heart
Yeah.
wrenching.
And then you have the whole um, uh, Sam asking Sully, like, Sully, are you okay? And Sully saying, yeah, Sam, I'm fine. How are you? And you can clearly tell he's not. And then
Yeah.
Sam, his response, I just love is aces. Dig, dig, dig. Put shovel into
Hmm.
dirt. Just
Hmm.
aces. Oh, it was. that might be my favorite scene overall in the whole episode, just because of how they, well, other than the air guitar solo, of course.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Just because it's setting us up for the flashbacks we're about to see, because you have like Dean asking Sam, like, when he first says, like, "Is my imaginary friend," like, "Why did you need an imaginary friend?" It seems like, because I was a lonely kid. I was always alone. You and Dad were always off doing stuff, and so I had to make this guy up. But apparently, I didn't make him up, because he's a ZANNA anyway.
Yeah. And he is lonely. They're like, "We'll be back. You can't come hunting with us. We'll be back in a couple of days." Like, he's just supposed to entertain
Yeah,
himself and like care for himself at the, like, I don't leave
and
my
they
son who's 13 home alone for more than like 4 hours at a time. They're just leaving him home for like 4 days.
not home in random hotels across America.
Right,
He's
exactly.
like staying in some random hotel, and like they've done this before, especially in flashback episodes or flashback scenes, episodes with flashback scenes in them, where they always have said that, like, John and Dean would go off and Sam would be waiting at a hotel for their call on where to meet them next or whatever. But this is the first time I think they've like really show it, because they've either always alluded to it or they've just showed like the moment. I don't know. So yeah, we can just cover all the flashbacks at once, because I forget exactly where they all fit in here. But basically, the flashbacks. The first one is uh, uh, Sully and Sam talking about how Sam can do anything and he could go, and this is where we get some of the Everthink back and
Ever
forth. This
think
is
you
what
could
it's like. Everything.
fly?
Yeah.
Ever think you
I
could
used to,
blah
then
blah
I
blah?
broke my arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're there, and then Sully is like really like trying to like push Sam to not be a hunter and to like go do anything else, go whatever.
To the point
And
where
then
never mind. Go ahead. You're gonna get to it.
oh no, what?
Where to the point where he's like, "Let's run away with a little bindle stick, so you don't have to be a hunter. We'll
Yeah,
just go out on the open road," which is like he already is there. Like he doesn't need to run away. He's already been abandoned.
right. And he's already kind of living, yeah, exactly, like a little bit of a hobo life. Yeah, he doesn't need to. He needs like a permanent home and school and 3 meals a day, and yeah,
Hmm.
that's what he
Hmm.
needs, Sully. He ends up getting into Stanford, which can we? I don't think we've ever talked about this.
How
How?
unlikely that is. Was it more?
How?
They
How?
obviously
How?
hacked it.
How?
They lied. He
Obviously,
lied.
obviously, that's what happened. They hacked Stanford's computers to let him in, and then they go
Although,
get him. They're like, they do all
although,
this
yeah,
work, and then they
Dad and John or Dean and John wouldn't have helped.
no,
Sammy would have had to do it by himself.
yeah, I don't know. That
Maybe
that
Bobby
is a
helped.
point that never gets talked about ever.
Hmm.
How on earth, with the no same school, like he never went to the same school. So like my guess is these guys don't have high school diplomas. I would put a good amount of money on that.
Yeah, like maybe they got GEDs.
Maybe at some point, but what in their line of work, they don't need one. And not only that, but like they're literally like predestined by Chuck. So like he would have never made sure they ever needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Education
Um,
was not a priority.
no, it was not. Anyway, weird side tangent to get off on. Apologies, but like really gets glossed over that like one of the fundamental things of the pilot episode is that Sam is at Stanford. Yet
Yeah, they
everything
should
that
have
we
made
see
it
in the
some
show,
like little redneck college in the middle of nowhere, you
yeah,
know.
it could have been KU in Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah,
No,
good enough that
we
he's in a
chose
college, you know.
Stanford, and that's where we went and got him from to do monster hunting some more. We should re-record Pilot. That'd be fun.
Okay,
Revisit Pilot.
I'm
All
in.
right. So the other flashback is then the kind of like the breakup flashback. I believe there's three flashbacks. I don't know how I'm forgetting what the third one is. But you have the breakup where Sully has the bindle stick and everything. Sam hangs up the phone and says, "Oh, we don't have to run away. My dad wants me, and I'm gonna go hunt with them." And Sully's like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" And then, basically that's when they have their fight, and Sam says he wishes he could unmake up Sully, and it's very sad. And that kid
Yeah, it's
actor
very sad.
is like really mean.
Yeah,
It's a really
it's a
mean kid
really tough.
actor.
It's a really tough scene to
Uh,
get through.
Dylan Everett is the name of young. Sorry, that's Dean. Dylan Kingwell. So both young Dean and young Sam are, at least at one point in time, were both Dylans. Dylan Kingwell is young Sam in this episode. But yeah, very very heartbreaking scene because like
Mm,
Nate Torrance's face is like Sully's face is just so oh so good but so
yeah.
sad and so just it felt like Harry and the Hendersons, you know.
And this is like a real season 11 theme is these like seemingly whimsical episodes that have like real dark undercurrents that are revealed as the episode plays out.
Like
That's like
the
that's like the
plush,
mood of season 11.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, plush, which is like oh scary costume monsters and child molestation. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Why do we want?
What?
Why
Where
did we
did
put
that
that
come
in there?
from?
This one is imaginary friends and abandonment
Yeah. And car accidents.
and car. That's where So that's where this episode gets real dark. I guess
Mhm.
is the so they go to Weems and because we get the breakup flashback much later when Weems and Sam are talking. But we get to Weems. Weems, who was like hanging up the laundry because Fletcher pisses the bed all the time. He's got a bladder like a sieve, we learn later. Um,
Mhm.
and So Weems is like hanging up laundry, and this is where the stabby stabs come in. But they don't kill Weems, they just kind of like slice him a
Ooh.
little bit. And he's able to see the attacker drive off in a blue VW bug, and that it's female.
And so Dean's like, imaginary friends. I don't know. I can't help you. But a girl in a Volkswagen, I'm on terra firma.
Great line. Awesome line. Yes, I'm on terra firma. So Dean runs off after the girl while Sam stays behind with Sully and Weems. Um, and this is where we get the cool air guitar solo because Sam's like, what air guitar, huh? Then he does this whole, it's awesome. Just watch the episode, people. Take my word for it. It's great.
It's great. It's great. And they're like, "What makes you an imaginary friend? You seem like just a weirdo." And he's like, "Oh, I'm really good at air guitar."
Yeah, he's like, why would kids want to hang out with you? He's like, I'm really good at air guitar. And they're like, oh, okay. And then he's like, no, watch. Bernardo does a whole like Bill and Ted style air
Mhm.
guitar solo, and it's great.
Yeah.
So then
It is pretty great.
uh, Sully Sully leaves the scene for some reason, and that's when Sam and Weems talk, and Weems is like, "Oh, you're that Sam," and that's when we get our flashback of the Sully and Sam breakup. Um, we get to so we also get like a great BM moment between Sam and Sully then, where Sam basically is like, "We left things really terribly. I'm really sorry. I also, like in Sam's defense, didn't think you were real."
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, come on. But he also kind of talks to him about the darkness and the visions he's having, and say, Sully. But Sully is like, I'm so proud of you. You've saved the world. Da 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 da. Like, I keep track of my kids, and so, but Sam's still not feeling very heroic because he's got all this stuff going on, and but Sam gets a text from Dean saying that he's found the girl and an address. Which, if you ever just get a text from the brother, like at this point, they know. Like they call
Right.
those two call each other. They don't
Mm-hmm.
text. They call each other. Anytime one of them gets a text from the other one, they should just know they've been captured.
Right, and it's like we're not even gonna see this girl get this like 90-pound girl get the drop on Dean.
Nope. Did not get to see that whatsoever. That was unfortunate. I feel like that's something they would have made a little bit more of a meal of in an earlier season, for sure. They didn't make any meal of it at all. It was off camera. So they walk in, and Sam and Sully walk in. So they go to find Dean, and he is being held by this woman named Reese, who is trying to get revenge against Sully because she believes that Sully is the reason her twin sister died as a child getting hit by a car because she
Yep.
chased Sully out into the street.
Yep. Which like it should be ZANNA 101. Don't play tag in the
In
street.
the street, right? Like, ugh. Yeah, yeah. I guess, and then this is where then we get the line from Dean because she's like, he's a sick monster. He should be put down. All of them should be put down. I'm hunting every single one of them. I went and found a Tibetan shaman to give me a spell so I could see these freaks and blah blah blah. And Dean is like, look, now normally I'm all about killing monsters and anything that's not a human. Uh, and however, these guys are like freaking Mister Rogers or something.
Yeah.
I forget what the exact line is, but he says something to that effect. Um, and she, eventually, like that does work through to her, but not before we do hear from Sully the what happened. Which his the story of what happened. He says this is why they were my first kids after Sam and I had our terrible breakup. Uh, After this happened, this is why I don't go in the field anymore because literally this whole event like broke me. So like Sully's really like
And it's so
kind
dark
of,
and sad.
it is very dark inside. And then looks at her and goes, "If this is what you need to feel better, go ahead and kill me." And we have this
Yeah.
just tragic moment between these two. This like character we
Whatever's
just met,
best for the kid.
whatever's best for the kid, yeah. And she ultimately can't go through with it because how could you? The guy's wearing rainbow suspenders.
Yeah. Can't kill a guy
Um,
wearing rainbow suspenders.
no, no. So we get that happy-ish ending, I guess. Um, and I'm trying to remember
It's
what.
not like they can take her to court or like arrest her or anything. Like she didn't kill real people. Like, she
Right,
only killed
right.
imaginary people.
But the ultimate bad in this episode, I mean, like the bad in this episode is just a person. That's always some
Yeah.
of my favorite supernatural episodes is when they're like, oh, the worst thing of all of them is still just people.
Still just people.
Still just people. Just like my favorite X Files episodes were always the ones where it's like, nope, just a guy.
A girl with
that's
unprocessed
that's all.
trauma.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, just someone who needed therapy.
Yeah.
But like, how do you tell your therapist that the imaginary friend killed your sister? Yeah. So we drop knives. Days saved. People saved. Things hunted. But the thing hunted was people.
Yay.
And we then get like our good like BM scene at the end with Sully and the boys.
Boy
Kind of
melodrama. We get it.
wrapping the whole thing up. Um, and yeah, I mean, then the boys we have some cage talk in the car.
There's some
Uh,
cage talk in the car.
yeah, there was cage talk at the very beginning too. I kind of glossed over, but we'll get to that with our rules recap. So yeah, And that is essentially just my
Just my
imagination.
imagination. Great job.
But yeah, how did our rules play out, Krissy?
Yes, how did they? ZANNA attacks.
I have
I got
3 because I
3.
count the Weems, even though he didn't actually die, as an attempt to kill him.
I did too. I also got
Um,
3.
because then she doesn't actually attack Sully at the end. I had 3 flashbacks.
I also had 3 flashbacks.
Okay, cool. Obviously, we had 1 air guitar solo.
1 chugging air guitar solo.
I have 6 indignant deans.
I have 5.
Okay,
So we're pretty close on that.
yeah. I have 7 ever thinks.
Same, exactly.
Nice. I literally I rewound it because I kept missing them. I had to rewind that scene 3 times. Because something else kept distracting me, and I was like, "Dang it! You need to count these lines." I have 3 instances of cage talk.
I only have 2, but if there was one at the beginning, I missed it.
Yeah, there's the boys are in the car on the way, or they're in the bunker, one of the two, and they're talking about it, and then you have Sam and Sully talk about it, and then the boys talk about it in the car at the end. I only counted 2 thumbs up from Sully's, and then how many pop culture references did you count, Krissy?
4.
4.
4 pop culture references by Dean.
You have the Mork from Ork reference.
Totoro.
You have the Totoro reference, which is awesome. Well, Totoro really cares about you, huh? You have the Drop Dead Fred.
Yep.
And Bert and Ernie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. But then I'm saying, there's whatever he says in that moment, I think is a pop culture reference too at the end. Maybe it's not, but
well, I could have missed some.
I don't know. According to the old, also on the Wikipedia here, they pose as Dr. Strummer and Dr. McGowan. Joe Strummer and Shane McGowan were both vocalists for the band The Pogs. So they're getting a little more deep cutty with our band.
Joe Strummer is in another band too, though. Isn't he in The Clash?
Yes, he is. I think you'd have to be a musician with that last name, right?
Yeah.
That's not his actual last name, Krissy.
Well,
it's a great stage name, though. His actual name is John Graham Meller. But that's that'd be like if you were a drummer and your name was Banger or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Joe Banger.
Joe Banger. The drummer. Because you couldn't be Strummer the drummer. That'd be too weird.
Meet our band. We got Joe Strummer on guitar, Joe Banger on the drums, Joe Thumb Guy on the bass.
Thumper on the bass. Yeah. Anyway, so Krissy, I love this episode. I do, even though it is, there's lots of sad stuff in it. Literally, you have Sam losing his mind. He's just has no confidence or ability to just be himself because he's all worried about what's ultimately the devil, what's ultimately Lucifer.
Yeah.
In his head, just playing mind games. And of course, then the episode after this one is another episode I want to do. I won't do it, so I don't do 3 in a row. But
why not go for our first hat trick?
Oh, actually, not directly after this one. 2 episodes after this, because the one after this is "Oh Brother Where Art Thou," and that's where we do get a whole bunch of devil, or Lucifer stuff or whatever. I believe it's "Devil in the Details," which is the one that opens with Crowley at Christmas, right?
Oh, right.
No, that's a different one too. Shoot, I'm trying to remember. Oh no, that's what Brother Word though, because that's the one that starts with the guy preaching at the beginning. Yes, yeah. 2 episodes after this one, which is Devil in the Details, is the one that opens with Crowley and Rowena at Christmas and like the flashback, and then it's Lucifer is the dad or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that episode's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Whole thing's fun. Such a fun show.
It's a
So
fun
glad we
show.
do this. What are we doing next?
Oh, we're going way back. We're getting in the way back machine.
Heck yeah.
We're going
I like when we
to
go way back.
season 3, episode 11, Mystery Spot.
Yes.
So when we originally were recording this pre-pandemic, we were going episode by episode, season by season, and we got almost through season 3, but we didn't get to the mystery spot. So I'm doing the mystery spot.
Sweet.
Okay, are you ready for the rules?
I am ready for the rules.
Okay. Rule number 1. Heat of the moment. Take a drink anytime you hear heat of the moment. Do a waterfall anytime Dean gargles. So if he gargles, you gargle. If take a drink anytime someone catches the hot sauce. Take a drink for an X-Files reference. Take a drink for the syrup swap. Take a drink when we reveal the trickster. Spoiler alert. Take a drink for Huey Lewis's Back in Time. Back in time. Back in time. And then
this is
take a
Groundhog
drink.
Day episode, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay.
And take a drink when Bobby calls.
Oh, I love this one.
It's a great one.
I love it.
It has twists and turns you can't see coming.
Yeah. I am quite excited to get to watch this one again.
All right. Well, that's our episode, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking around to the end to find out what's next. Hey, if you're here with us at the end and you want a little more, there is a little more. Nate and I always talk about our lessons learned for each episode and have a little bit of extra conversation at the end, which you can get if you become a member. Become a sustaining member of our podcast. Help us to keep making this thing. Help us to keep going. We appreciate you so much. And you know what? If you're not ready for that, if you're not ready to go to True Story FM and become a member, then you know what you can do is just like, rate, review, follow, subscribe. I really want people to review us on Apple Podcasts. We don't have enough reviews on there. I want to get some more. And we really appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. And Nate, where can people find us in the real world?
In the real world, you can find us doing some improv comedies at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona. Shows are Friday and Saturday nights, and you can find all sorts of other details at nctphoenix.com.
That is correct. Stay tuned for more episodes. Keep listening, and when you're out there in the world saving people and hunting things, the family business, be sure to keep the Gank That Drank motto in mind. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.
Party on, dudes.